How's that been going for you? Has it been difficult?
Yes and no. To be honest, I did just a lot of sort of market research, I guess you can say, or investigative journalism, and
Thank you.
and went through,
Thank you for adding that.
and went through and just sort of
Welcome to the League of Investigative
yeah,
Journalism.
yeah, I feel very honoured.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Make Trades Great Again podcast. I'm Eric, he's Andy, and we got a guest today, Andy. Real quick, before you introduce them, I want to remind everybody, if you look in the show notes below in your podcast app or on YouTube, there's a link there you can use to get in touch with us. You can send us a text message. We can't text you back, and we won't see your phone number, so man, you got a lot of opportunity there. Take care of business. We want to hear from you, please. We've had a couple fun episodes recently where we talked and answered questions that were sent in, and that's a lot of fun to us. We love it. Please do it. All right, Andy, who's our guest?
Our guest today, we have Luke. I'm going to butcher his last name as Cazaly, I believe. Is that correct?
Cazaly. Very close.
Cazaly. Jeez.
You
butchered
said
by
that like 10 minutes ago.
Again, butchers, everyone butchers it.
Everybody. Well, so Luke comes to us, semi-recent relocation to Adelaide, Australia. That's correct?
That's correct.
And Luke has been a long-time listener and
First-time caller.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was on my mind. I was like, should I say it? Should I say it? So,
Do it. So Luke, you've got you run a heating and cooling company in Adelaide. How long have you been doing that?
So I started, originally here you do a plumbing trade, in which you can do gas, or you can do refrigeration, air conditioning, they're separate trades. I started my gas trade, we worked out the other day, it was about 16 years ago this year.
Okay.
And then started my own business roughly 5 to 6 years ago. Relocated to Adelaide. It's coming up 2 years.
2 years.
So,
Nice.
And just about 2 years ago, I think, is when you first wrote in. We answered some questions on air about you had written to us about moving to Adelaide, right? Isn't that
Yeah.
when we first heard from you?
yeah, starting in a new place and
Yeah.
starting your business back up again and connections and a bit of what do you guys recommend, I guess. So
Was it? I can't imagine it was super helpful, whatever it was that I contributed to that side of the
there's points. There's always dot points.
It gave you things to consider or not consider.
Yeah, paths to go down or not to go down.
That's right. Life choices needed to be made.
Yeah, use someone else's experience so you don't have to go through the same thing.
So give us an update. How's it going after a little over a year? Now you said in
2 years.
business.
Yeah.
You wrote in recently, and that's what kind of prompted this conversation was, hey, let's get Luke on because you had told us things are moving forward. You're busy and you've kind of looked at all your options and really tried to start to specialize in things, and the word has got out, right?
Yeah, very much so. So when I moved here, I stopped my business originally in Victoria and then went back to a position working for someone. I think it lasted maybe 5 months, 6 months. And I just thought, no, I want to go back working for myself, have that flexibility, like with a young family and sort of have that time back. So, but I really wanted to just specialize in what I did well. I didn't want to branch out and do all these other things. Yes, I see people starting businesses here. They're just like, we do it all. And then a few years later, they fixate on what they want to do. And then they start to specialize in that and do well. So I thought, well, I'll just specialize in that from the start, try to get some connections through social media and see how it goes. And it's really just, I couldn't see my business doing this well back in Victoria. I think the move has really given it a good kick.
With that, like when you say you're specializing and really doing what you're good at, how did that come into, like, when you were planning your business and working it for trying to make it work? How did you get to the point where you decided you weren't going to do everything? Like, is it based off of your past experience, or were you seeing like you said, you were seeing other people do it? You didn't really, see that happening for you, or what? Like, what made you decide to specialize?
Yeah, so past experience. So where I did my first apprenticeship, we specialised in gas maintenance or gas service and repair, and I've just carried that on the whole way through. So it's one of those things I've always been of the understanding. If I specialise in gas heating and don't do maintenance plumbing or roofing or anything else, well, then those people will probably refer me for the gas heating jobs, and I can refer them to the other ones, and everyone's happy. So
That's awesome.
It's hard sometimes, especially when you're new in business, to look at that and go, well, I'm gonna not do that work. I can do it, right? I'm fully capable of doing that, but it's hard to not be like, I'll just take this job. I'll just go do this job, and then pretty quick you're like, oh, well, that I hired this guy and he did everything for me, and so now you're that guy that does everything, and it's hard to break that kind of that stigmatism. Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you do those jobs probably not quite as well as you should, then you start getting a bad reputation, and so.
Right. Yeah. There's a reason why I don't do drywall repair. We'll cut it out. I'm really good at cutting out and removing drywall, but I'm not so good at putting it back.
Most plumbers are. Yeah.
Right.
If you can't cut drywall as a plumber, you're not going to make it, I don't think.
Everyone's good at demolition.
That's right. Yeah.
Are you using any kind of like software management system or anything that's been helping your new business?
So I've always used ServiceMate, which is really good, and then pair that with like a Zero software to do all the bookkeeping side of things.
Yeah.
But I've always used ServiceMate. I've used it in previous companies. So when I went out on my own, I thought I'll use that. I'm familiar with it. It works well. It keeps, all the information you need for each job paired with every client. So you can look back on things, and I've converted people to using it too that have just been using a diary or a notebook, and it's made their life so much simpler. Oh, I couldn't imagine it. I'd forget so many appointments.
Oh yeah.
We've talked about it on the show plenty of times. They don't sponsor us. I wish they did. But the House Call Pro, it's probably like ServiceMate, where all your estimates, all your invoicing, you can do marketing through it, all your messaging with customers and your crew. And even as a one-man show, I use probably just this tiny, tiny amount of that software, but without the amount, like its capability, you know what I mean? I don't use every feature because I don't need to, but everything it offers me as a one-man show is just amazing, to the point where I think, how did I do this without it?
Right.
I can't imagine even starting out today and not having those tools, or maybe even more of them. There's probably tools I'm not using I should be.
Oh, definitely. And I believe that was one of the, your recommendations to start it is get something like that in place from the very get-go. So you're not trying to convert later on. And I've tried to change software just as there was a few that I was looking at, and I thought I'll just, do a trial. I just couldn't do it. Once you're established in one, it's very hard to change. But I couldn't imagine starting out, or anyone starting out, without it, because it makes your life so much easier.
Yeah, that's something that I've found over the years of doing this, is that every time you make a change, it's so hard to like, okay, I'm just going to stop doing what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop doing business. I'm going to take time out, right? And get this thing on track and ready to go. And software is one of those pieces that, you have to quit doing what you did before. Like, because you can't do it anymore. It's got to go all into this, and you just need to go all in. And that's,
well, there's no like using two softwares.
Right.
Like if I use House Call Pro, I'm not going to also try this other, ServiceMate or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to like try to use one and the other and be like, I'm not sure if I want to switch. Yeah. No, like you said, Andy, it's like, I use this, and if I have to switch, I have to use another one. There's no blending it.
Right.
So most manufacturers will have like a cutoff date with a serial number where they've changed something. And I think that's what you have to do. You literally just have to be, all right, Monday, this date, I start using another one, and I forget the other one. And because if you try trial two, like you said, you do bookings on this one, or did I book them on that one, or did I book them on this one? And,
oh my gosh.
My brain would explode.
No way. Well, I bring up the software because I know you, in your recent email to us, you're talking about how like it's taken a little while, but getting into that specialty, getting that word of mouth kind of marketing going, and then ultimately related to the software and you're starting your business is just like getting your pricing in line, right? Like that was probably a challenge as not only did you move to a new city, restart a business, but like as we're starting out, all of us, no matter what our business is, that's I think one of the most challenging things is to get your pricing correct for your market, but like so you're providing for yourself, your own wages, your business growth, things like that. So how was that like how's that been going for you? Has it been difficult?
Yes and no. To be honest, I did just a lot of sort of market research, I guess you can say, or investigative journalism, and
Thank you.
and went through,
Thank you for adding that.
and went through and just sort of
welcome
yeah.
to the league of investigative
Yeah,
journalism.
yeah, I feel very honoured. Uh, going through and like I looked at a couple of big companies and what do they charge, and then I looked at I tried to find out some small sort of sole traders. Oh, what do you charge for a heating service? And a lot of it was just to and fro. And then I looked at bigger companies and I thought, what do they offer? Like they might have 10 to 15 guys they could get there tomorrow or the next day, but where's the experience lie? And I thought I'm providing the same experience every time you call me. It's the same person coming out. You've got that high level of quality. So I was like, oh, why shouldn't I charge what they're charging? So I just set my rates off what they were. And I looked at it, profit loss and cost of business and everything else. And I was like, that would cover me for the time that I expect to spend on site. And it gives me enough time to do a thorough service and make sure I'm, I've got time to sit down, have a coffee with the customer or, have a bit of a chat and do that marketing side of things or customer service. And it's just worked out well. So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's something that I've noticed in the house call Pro software that we've used or that we use. They've started doing some job costing stuff in there, and one of the things I've been implementing in my free time, which is not a lot, but is to start filling in more of those blank spaces to really dial in what am I actually making. We've talked about this in the past about like how do you figure out what to charge, and these things go into it, and so that's like this projected cost, but then to go back into it on the other side and say, well, this is what it actually cost, and then compare those two numbers, and it's been interesting. We're at a good place right now, and I'm happy that my projected number was what it should be. It could probably be higher, but
Yeah.
we're making the margin we're looking for.
Yeah, so that's the thing too. And I guess your timeline, like for me, a big thing of starting my business was having time, having control of my time. If my daughter had something on at school, I wanted to be able to say, well, I'm going to that. There's no ifs, buts or maybes. So not that I sort of put that into the spreadsheet when I was doing my costing, but yeah, that was a big thing. I look at my end of the year profit and what I've made, but then I've also looked at all the free time that I've had when I wanted to. So
yeah, it's time. You've talked about that a couple times already, and so I know how important it is because ourselves too. We took the risk in self-employment. I think I'll speak for Andy, or you correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, but I think ultimately we took the risk not because we thought like we were going to make a lot more money, but it was really the family. Like Andy's kids and mine are roughly the same age, and so we kind of started our businesses at the same time frame too in our lives, where we looked at what we were involved in on the day to day and how much value we saw being able to go to the school event or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that would you say that's true for you guys too, Andy?
Yeah, it definitely was. I don't know that it was a deciding factor. It was something that when I started my business, the kids were young, and it was something that was really hard because that first year or two, it was like so laser focused on business, right? Like, how do I build this thing? I'm a plumber, plumber pipe fitter. I don't know anything about business, right? And a lot of technicians that are in our positions where they've been a technician and then all of a sudden they're thrown into this business world, jumped into this business world. They don't recognize that concept of like, how do you do time management? Because it's so easy to get really focused on, I got to do every job. I've got to get every job. I've got to bill every minute. I've got to whatever. And it's hard to look back and go, well, if I guess if instead of charging, Mrs. Smith $25 to do that job, if I charged her $50, then I wouldn't be in such a rush to get to the next one.
20
And the next, I don't have to bill 24 hours a day in order to make enough money to put food on the table. I can bill 8, or maybe I can bill 6, and or 5. And now I've got time to go to the soccer game,
I see how this is working out.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Or 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't got there yet, but I need to keep that in sight.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
funny
they
though. Yeah. That
Charge her
definitely does
$1.
happen.
Well, I charge her $1 for the fix and $10,000 for my time or my
That's right.
knowledge. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? It's like,
We only work 1 day a week now.
yeah.
But the experience is there.
It's really good.
I'd say I do look back and I think one of my early motivations was the kids thing, like just being able to be there. That really was. And so hearing you say that's so cool, Luke, because I feel like that's what it was for me. It really was a super important.
It is easy to get caught up in it though. Like you said, trying to do every job and booking things. So my daughter's school, they might give you like a week's notice if there's going to be a concert or something going on. So I already had jobs booked. And it was really sort of playing on my mind. I thought, you know what? I'm just going to send the customer a message so I can send that through ServiceMate, just like a text. I said, oh, look, I need to change your appointment for an hour and a half later. And they just came back and said, yeah, that's fine. I said,
yeah,
it cost me, 5 minutes. And now I can suddenly go to this school event. And we all know how much that means to the kids too, just, seeing your parents out in the crowd as well. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
How's your scheduling been? And as you've gotten busier, as your business is starting to grow, as far as, you're busier than ever, you said in your message, how's it been? Like you guys are in heating season right now. Of course, it's middle of summer for us, and being in Australia, you're working the opposite kind of calls.
yeah. Toilets flush backwards. We're in the opposite season. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
So it's good. You do have that, I guess, guilt when someone rings up and they go, I've got no heating. And you're like, oh, I've got this many bookings. I've tried to experiment with, say, leaving Monday, Wednesday, Friday afternoons just free.
Yeah.
And some people are like, oh, but then, you don't have a full day. You're not billing full hours. But it always fills in. It either always fills in, or I can actually tidy up paperwork and not be so stressed on the weekend. So that's working really well. Some of the contracts I've got, they have emergency jobs as well. And if they came in, then I'd be super stressed if I was booked up to every minute. So leaving those gaps has made a massive difference.
That's how I've done my heating season, is basically I don't schedule anything Monday and Friday, like install kind of stuff if I'm doing a change out, because the work comes in over the weekend, or even on the weekend, I'll be taking calls. I've talked about it in the past. The ones that I take after hours or on the weekend, like the no heat or something like that, those are the ones that I've made the most money on long term, the customers, because you're being willing to be there when somebody else wasn't, and at a fair price. I don't gouge people because it's, Saturday or something. But the leaving the Monday, Friday open for scheduling. So honestly, I'm superstitious. I don't love starting up a heating system on a Friday. I don't know why it is. I'm not superstitious. I'm a little stitious, but that's my favorite.
It's semi-stitious.
That's my favorite.
Moderately-stitious.
Moderately stitious.
Yeah. Well, it's a line from The Office, Michael, the boss. Yeah. Anyway, so my install, like, change outs for boilers are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like, I have to fit for mentally. I'm like, I can't do it on a Friday. I can't start the system on a Friday, because when I go home on a Friday that something's going to happen over the weekend. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't think that's a superstition. That's just you being smart about recognizing that starting a boiler change out on Friday is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Or finishing it on Friday.
I think that's the is it the Dunning-Kruger effect, where it's like you know so much about something that you worry so much more because you have so much more knowledge about the subject. So, well, for example, even APA Group, so Australian Gas Networks here, they weren't allowed to do certain gas meter work on a Friday because if you test their fitting line and it leaks, you have to cut them off. So they're just like, well, those jobs, they don't happen on Friday because if we cut them off and then they need a plumber to come fix their gas line, they're not going to get one over the weekend, and we've left them with no gas. So they're just like, we just won't schedule those Friday.
So we're just going to ignore the gas leak until
gas leaks are fine, but like scheduled meter changes or like anything that's like couldn't wait till Monday. Right. Yeah, gas leaks are 24/7. We used to do that for on call, and it was funny. You'd go there and it'd be 2:00 in the morning, and they'd go, it suddenly smells stronger, and you go, how long have you been smelling it? And they go, oh, weeks. So 2 a.m. on a Saturday night is suddenly stronger than, Monday at lunchtime when you could have called it in.
We had this local bar, and it's a dive, just a not a great place. The back patio was like a second story, so the down in the alley on the backside was in the level with the basement. Anyway, so there's this back patio area where everybody went outside to smoke, and for whatever reason, just inside the door is the bathroom, but outside you might as well just pee in the corner. I don't understand it. As like I said, not a real classy joint. But the gas lines
that was the women's, by the way.
Yeah, that was the women's.
I'm starting to wonder, what were you doing there, Andy?
Yeah.
What were you in?
Well, it's so weird to see women squatting in town. You know what I mean?
Right in the corner. But in the corner of this patio is where the gas lines went to the apartments upstairs. So above the bar, there were 4 or 5 apartments, and they each had a gas line. So there's these 4, 3/4 or 1 inch gas lines going up the side of the building. Well, everybody's out there smoking one evening, and somebody's like, God, it smells like gas out here. This is kind of weird. And so the bartender calls the next morning and goes, we got this. Somebody reported that it smells like gas out on the back patio, and whatever. Better have somebody come look at it. And so we go down there. I send one of the guys down there, and sure enough, the gas line's just completely rotted off right at the edge of right where it comes through the patio. And
the pee.
Yeah. Oh. And it's like, here's this gas leak, and there's literally a pile of cigarette butts, around this area where everybody pees and throws their cigarette butt. And I'm just like, this is gross, dude.
Gross. I can smell it from your story.
So we rerouted the gas line, and and the guy's like, I don't know, I guess we just got to replace that piece. And I'm like, no, I mean, everything from here down to the meters needs to go. And so we put new, 3/4 inch stainless pipe up that way. I'm like, it's either that or you could have your patrons use the bathroom.
Yeah. Here's an idea.
Yeah. The room that should nobody use. It's like seeing a.
I was going to say, if your bathrooms are so bad that people are just like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to pee over here. Like, maybe fix your bathrooms up.
Maybe it's time for a remodel.
It's like seeing a combi boiler with the flue gas condensate running copper. And you're like, I won't see that in a couple of years because it would just be the clips on the wall. No drain.
It's funny you bring that up because I have to have things on my desk here in the studio to fidget with that don't make noise. And one of the things that's made it into my fingers is, as long as I don't drop it or anything, is can you see that?
Yeah.
It's a female adapter for PEX, but see how the holes are in it? This was on a tankless water heater. So yeah, condensate drain.
Yep.
Or you know what I mean? All worn away.
We get them here, even like I do a lot of work for Renai, and the condensing units, they leave a 20 mil cap on the condensate drain port.
Oh my gosh. And
then plumbers will put them in, and without, they might not have put it in a condensing unit before, but no one reads the manual. I can throw that over your shoulder sort of thing. So I'll go out there a few months later and they go, this unit's brand new, it's not working. And you'll take the cap off and just put a bucket under it and just drain it all out. Just get, you need to drain under this. And then it'll work. Testament to their quality, it will still work. But, you just go, you should run a drain. It's the cap.
Yeah. There's a whole section in the manual
I thought the manual was a knee pad. Like
Knee pads.
so you
Yeah.
put it down on the floor so you don't have to kneel on the dirty concrete.
Yeah.
That's what-
Or a spacer, like if you needed to put it between something.
Yeah. Like hold the
Shim.
bottom off.
Yeah. Yeah. Level the
You brought
unit.
up Renai in your email that you had sent recently that you said you were signing contracts or doing a lot more Renai stuff. Like getting maybe training from them, or what does it mean when you say you're signing contracts with Renai?
So what Ren I do here is they don't have in-house employees to do their service work. They have what's called like a zone contractor. So I manage different zones of Adelaide, I guess, have different contractors. So I have a couple of zones that I look after. So anything warranty, or if a customer reaches out to Renai and says, look, I've got one of your appliances out of warranty, who do you recommend to service it? They'll go, in your zone, we'll put forward this guy. So everything goes through them. So if I do an out of warranty job through them, they get paid and I get my little cut to the side. But it's really good. In a way, it's marketing, because you introduce yourself to the customer. They already know, well, he's trusted by this big brand. He must be half decent.
Yeah.
And the warranty stuff is really good to stay, really on top of everything that's going on with the new units. So,
Well, I love that system, and I wish we used it here, where you've got, where they're gonna refer just a specific contractor versus just having like a list of contractors on the website, right? Andy and I have talked about that on the podcast plenty of times, where getting your business listed on these websites so that if somebody goes to that website for that manufacturer, they might click on, oh, this guy's near me. You know what I mean? I wish we had more of a setup where they do that in Europe a lot too, where you are kind of under contract, or you've made this arrangement with the manufacturer where you're the referral and the contractor doing the business. I would love that personally. I think you can work toward that here. Like it's more common here where you have to become that contractor in the area. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where, yeah, they're probably going to call one or two other contractors first and find out that they should have called you.
yeah.
I wish we had a stronger system that sounds a little
Yeah.
more organized, like what you're working under.
Ours is very good. I think it's for them, they need that for the warranty purposes. Like they need to have this strong network. Otherwise, if something goes wrong with a brand new unit, they're going, oh, you could call your local plumber, or you could call, your local gas fitter or something, but they might not know too much about fault finding. So, and part of it is every year they do a refresher training, where they get a trainer to come in and they show you all the new things, and they say, this is what you should know, this is what you shouldn't. There's still a lot of guys out there that probably shouldn't be doing it, but they have the numbers to provide to the calls. But yeah, every now and again, you sort of get a few that are really good at it, and that's, I think, makes the customer experience better. It protects the brand as well, because there's nothing worse than getting a brand new unit and all of a sudden it stops working.
Yeah. I feel like I see specific tankless, a competitor to Renai, a big tankless company here that does well, has a big network of trained by factory reps that travel the country, and you can get a certain specific kind of certification, so it kind of puts you up above the rest of the contractors that might offer that brand of boiler and tankless unit. I'm talking about Navien. I guess I don't know why I'm being so cryptic on that. But like, so Navien's got this NSS. It's Navien Specialty. I don't know. It's a contractor thing. Oh, I should just look at the paperwork next to me. Service specialist, Navien service specialist. Anyway, you can get that certification, which gets you on their site on kind of a next level, and it gets you a different phone number to deal with tech support and stuff like that. And I feel like there are, Navien wouldn't like me to say this, but this is my opinion. I think a lot of people share it with me, is I feel like there's a lot of people in that program that have that certification within their business, but they have lots of employees and stuff like that. And I wonder, like, are they, sometimes I question qualifications. I'll leave it at that. I won't have to say much more than that.
I feel like that's across the board with any manufacturer though, really. Like there's a lot of people that they might have the numbers to provide to so many calls, But they might have one guy at the company that actually knows what he's doing, and a lot of it's just, well, when you get to site, call this guy, and he'll lead you through it. So
call Jamie.
Yeah, Jim.
James.
That's a inside joke that anybody listening isn't going to understand.
No, that's
you got to
fine.
call Jamie. Or what's another one? Jamie. Jeff.
Bruce.
That's a
Bruce. Call Bruce.
Call
Call
Bruce.
Bruce.
Bruce knows.
Lucas. You got to call Lucas.
Oh.
Well, Andy and I were installing the same boiler systems, the brand and stuff, and it's my biggest supporter for pushing work. If other people are referring me, my business to somebody for service work or replacement, whatever, usually it's those more complicated, hey, just, customer has had somebody out that contractor maybe doesn't know the product line as well as others, because it's a little like our Viessmann boiler systems. You don't see a lot of them get installed here. It's a higher end brand. It takes a different level, I think, of understanding to be very proficient with the product, to be efficient and apply it properly and get the most out of it. You kind of have to take a minute to really understand how it's designed differently than other boilers, stuff like that. And so my point is, let me get to the point. My rep for that, my Viessmann rep, he listens, the guy I like them, and deal with the most, friend of mine, Jay Bars. Andy's met Jay and worked with Jay before. But they're a huge supporter of my business. Like, I think because we've built a relationship where they know I'm serious about taking care of our customers that come along with this product line, and they're serious about having to take care of the customers. That's their job. That's their number one job as the rep. Like, if a customer calls, they got to have the right solutions and offer the right people to come up, to implement those solutions. So is that, like, it sounds a lot like what you've built for yourself, is building that reputation as kind of the fix-it guy when it comes to the Rinnai product line. Are you working with other products too? I can't imagine that you just, if it's a different brand, you're not going to touch it, right?
Yeah, so I work with all brands of sort of definitely gas, like anything gas, heating or hot water, I'll take on. With the refrigeration side, I work with most brands of air conditioning as well. I have my favourites, I guess, but I do a fair bit of work for Asia, which is a gas fireplace company from the South Island in New Zealand. And they're really good. So the South Island's known for just being laid back, I guess. So you can call their technical support line. They're always very cruising and, let's get this sorted. It's not like, it's business, but it's not that very regimented business.
Yeah.
But yeah, having that, I guess, I've built up that reputation, even through social media now, where people are like, look, I've gone and looked at this. I just want it done. I just want it fixed. I don't want the stress. Can you just go there and sort it for me? And a lot of that, is Rinnai as well. Like, it's through the sales guys or the service team or anything. They're just like, well, let's just send him and we can converse with him and just make the problem go away and the customer's happy. And we're not sending all these people that we don't know their experience. They're one of our contractors, but who are they going to send? Are they going to send their dual apprentice? Are they going to send the old guy? They're going to...
I feel like I'm the old guy these days.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It catches up to you.
Just look at him.
Hey, anybody watching this video right now, my eye is all like, I got stung by a bee a couple days ago, and then I had this delayed reaction. Now my eye looks like I should maybe have a patch over it. So if you're wondering,
Pirate. Arr. Army hot taste.
That's right.
You know where a pirate shops for his clothes? At Target. Okay. But he stops for lunch along the way at Arby's. I'm here all day. I'm here all night.
To try the chicken.
Tip your waitress. Oh, man. We got to meet you in person. It was so much fun. We spent a couple days in Adelaide, Andy and the wives and I, and it was just I had so much fun. And I think about that dinner that we got to share with you guys and your daughter and your wife, and I think we us guys sat at one end of the table and the girls on the opposite, and I swear I laughed the entire time that we were together.
Such a
And
great
it was with
evening.
Patrick too.
Whenever Patrick's at a place, the atmosphere, I think, just goes up to another level. It's just he's loud and he's excitable and he's just...
The energy that guy, it just oozes out of him, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, he just... Everyone has to be on his level, I think. If you go to a place, he just tries to bring everyone to his excitement level. So, but it was good. Yeah, everyone sat on there. Everyone got along really well, and it was a great evening. I'll always fondly remember it. So.
Yeah, it's it was a memorable trip. It's amazing how, like, the journey to get from the U.S. to Australia and vice versa. Obviously, it is a long plane ride, like the longest plane. It was wild. It was marathon like.
Yeah.
That's funny. So, like, what's next? Are you looking to grow the business? Are you satisfied right now with how things are going, or do you want to get bigger, hire someone, or what are your plans? What are you thinking about these days?
It's almost my next question that I was going to write in almost. I'm at the point now where look, I've been super busy this winter, but what does summer bring? What does next winter bring? Should I forecast putting someone on? And then my mindset is, from past experience, well, should I put a qualified person on first and then an apprentice? So then if, I need to do something, well, the apprentice can go with the qualified person. Same reason, like if my daughter's got something out at school, I can't take an apprentice to the school thing and then say, well, we're finishing early today, I'll drop you off. So it's like, do you put the qualified person on? But then gas service and repair here is such a niche field. You get a lot of people that experiment in, I guess, or do it here and there, but they don't really specialize in it. So that's been something that I've been bouncing around in my brain a long time, is how do I get the right person? And most of the time, when they have the experience that I have, they're already working for themselves.
Yeah. Cloning. Cloning is the secret. Yeah.
I did say to someone, I'm like, if I had 3 of me.
Yeah. Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
That's always been my thought process too. And as I've kind of kicked around the last year or two of like bringing someone on after 20 years, I've been doing it alone and it's been working out for me. But I've always wanted, like, I think if I do it, and plans have kind of started, I guess I should be honest about that with myself, is we're working towards it. It's not going to be an apprentice to start. It's got to be somebody that can work independent, and so that I'm, like you said, like, I can't make somebody take the day off because I have to go do something else. Maybe I'm doing mechanical hub travel, like going to somewhere mechanical hub, and like I need them to be, I can't ask them to take time off, or I don't want to pay them just because I don't have a job for them to go to because they're my apprentice kind of deal. Yeah. I'm in the same spot. It's got to be, like you said, qualified, licensed person to take that first step for me.
I think it's the best way to sort of grow your business that way too, because like a lot of people here, you've got an apprentice for 4 years. Generally with gas, with my first employer, he said, like, you shouldn't really be doing anything until you're in your 4th year. So that's 3 years that they're with someone else or with you that you're not really making a profit off them, because a lot of services, like having an extra person might save you 10 minutes on an hour or an hour and a half service. It's not this great save. It's not like installs where you need a second set of hands. They're basically just there to be mentored. So if you had someone that was already capable and you could just kind of, I guess, polish to your level that you wanted for your business, and then put an apprentice on, and then train them.
So you can, train, exactly, build from within.
Yeah.
The apprentice thing is interesting. So I'm a huge proponent of apprenticeships. I think overall, just in general.
Yeah.
I think that apprenticeships in North America are really lacking. We don't have it, at least in the US, we don't have a good system. Nationwide, there are some states that are really doing it well. But the point I'm getting at is like having that, building that from within, and ultimately that's your goal, right? For growth is, get them, if you can train them in on your system, but you just don't, we're not seeing enough of that, and I wish there was more, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's the same here. It really is. And there's programs here that you can sort of like hire an apprentice almost. Like they've got this pool of apprentices, and you go, "Oh, I need one for 6 months," and then back to the apprenticeship orphanage they go and wait till someone else comes and takes them. So it's good in a way because you're not signing someone up and then after 6 months you're saying, "Sorry, I've got no work for you." They go to somewhere where they'll get taken out to someone
Get some
else.
more work.
Yeah. But in the same thing, it's like, well, what if you get them and they're really good, and then you're like, well, I want to keep you for the 4 years. Like they're going to bounce between other people, and it's a big commitment, I think, that I've been bouncing on, I think, and that's where I think a qualifier would be a lot better.
Do you have the ability to select like a 3rd or 4th year apprentice out of that group?
I believe a lot of them are early on. You probably could.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, well, a lot of people do get poached in like their 3rd or 4th year here as well. Like they'll be working for someone for 3 years, and then someone will go, "I'm looking for a 3rd year apprentice or a 4th year apprentice." And that's when they really start to reap the rewards for their first employer, and off they go. And
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I mean, that might get you somebody that's got the general skills kind of covered, and you can mold them to say, "Hey, we're going to, here's how I'm going to give you this specialized training for the last year of your apprenticeship." And then potentially in a year's time, they're ready to go out and be a new technician. They're not going to be, exceptionally skilled at that point, but they'll at least have a really good groundwork.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they've already covered all the hand tools and basic tasks.
Yeah, that's kind of been where the 2 guys that I have working for me now, one of them is just starting his 4th year, and the other one finished his journeyman's plumbing license got his journeyman's license for plumbing here a little over about a year ago, I guess. But I'd hired both of them out of a competitor's HVAC shop.
Andy's a
different
pro.
shops. Different shops, but
Hey, if they want to leave,
Well-
if there's better elsewhere, why wouldn't you?
yeah, and I didn't. I guess I would say this: I didn't go directly and be like, "I'm going to find that one." I had just put out the word, and that, hey, I'm looking for somebody, and the Miles, the guy that I hired first, we hired him, and then he said, "Hey, I got this buddy that works at this other shop that would be a good technician," and so Tristan came on at that point, and they've both been good. They're good people. So
I've worked with Andy, and I've always said if I were to go become employed and work for someone, said I have to move to Montana and work for the Mickelsons.
I've floated the idea to Andy myself. I said,
come on over. I
Yeah,
don't know. I think I've made the offer.
That's true. Yeah. We haven't talked numbers, but yeah, we've definitely talked.
Yeah, you might be surprised. I wonder what the paid, how it would compare.
How the difference is.
I don't know. I always have this assumption that, and maybe it's out of touch, maybe it's not even accurate at all, but I always have the assumption that our pay here in the kind of the areas that pay better than others in the US, I think it's pretty high compared to like other countries. I'm not exactly sure what a qualified licensed plumber in Australia commands for, like what the typical wage is in a year, but I think in the US it's a little bit higher than other places. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
But do your apprenticeships, or a lot of your apprenticeships, unpaid?
No, ours are all
they're
paid.
No.
Paid from day one.
Yeah.
Yours are as well, right?
Yeah. They're low paid for your first and second, and 3rd and 4th year you start to make a bit more money. But yeah, first and second. But really, like your first and second year, you're not doing a whole lot. So,
What's the start? Andy, it's not like your first year apprentice. Are you below 50% of journeyman wage?
We're ours is 50% right now. And then there's some proposal to change that to 60 just to try and help incentivize. Yeah.
For first year people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember my apprentice. So I went Andy's union, and when I started out, I was in, as an apprentice, and for many years I was taught for the union and everything. But I remember every year when my anniversary was March 1st,
Okay.
And man, January and then February, and you're like, oh, I'm going to get it. Because that's when you get your raise. You're like, I completed one more year. I go up 10% or something like that, wasn't it? So it must have been, I must have started at 50% too, because it was a 5-year program.
No, that's the way mine was too. Every 2,000 hours.
Yeah. It was basically,
basically a year.
You just had to look
if you
at it
worked a lot of overtime, then you'd get a little
sooner.
faster.
Yeah. I don't think they ever were keeping track of hours for the wage versus it was just a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Here's the year mark. I don't know.
Right.
I remember thinking as I was like 3rd and 4th year, like seeing the real light, like, holy crap, I'm going to start making like your check when you went up to like 3rd to 4th year, like your 40-hour, your regular check was like, oh, that's a lot better than it used to be.
This is something. Yeah. And then you hit the 5th year and you stayed in the same tax bracket, but you were like, or jumped up a tax bracket.
Yeah.
You're like, wait a minute. I got a 10% raise, but I'm paying I'm only getting like $100 more a week. Like,
yeah.
The running joke here was like you watch the 1st, 2nd year to 3rd year to 4th year apprentices, and they make so much more every year, obviously.
Yeah.
But you ask them, well, how much money have you got left over at the end of the week? It's always the same amount because they go up another wage and they go, well, now I can spend all this extra money on something else. So
yeah. That's I liked it. You could see like so our apprenticeship program, it was night school, 2 nights a week, right? And you could see everybody pulling up in their personal vehicles, and each year the row of cars for first year was the crappiest junkers, and then the second year guys still crappy junkers. But you see like the 3rd, 4th, 5th, they had there's some cars that are new off the lot, because they're starting to make some real money. You start seeing pickup trucks that aren't all rusted out and junkers. Think, okay, that's a 5th year guy right there. You could just kind of tell who it was that was in class that night based off of the cars that were parked out in the lot. I suppose more of the 5th year guys, you might start seeing company vehicles too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome. So a little bit of growth on the line here. You're thinking about it. You're maybe going to consider hiring as you move forward, and things are working out, and it's been a good move for you ultimately is what, I get from the email that you sent in.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there was a bit of that, moving into state, starting a business again probably isn't for everyone. And we did similar to your story, Andy, where you downsized your house and you had that money sort of sitting there, I guess, to start your business. We did similar. So we sold our house and then we moved, and it's like, well, we've got this money sitting there. It's like, let's invest it into the business and let's just see where it takes us. We've got the time, we're starting a new place, and there was a lot of risk, but I kind of already had the inkling from social media and stuff and putting myself out there previously that I could get into the red eye contract. And I was like, well, if we've got that, that's a really good leg up to start.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
That sort of, I guess, kicked it off. And yeah.
So as we wrap this up, I'm just thinking about the family and, we having met them, is your wife working with you? Is she, I don't remember, does she work outside of the home? Does she have a job she goes to?
Yeah, she does a lot of, so she works like medical admin. So she does that for a couple of days a week, and she's got her own business doing pregnancy massage and stuff like that. She has her own beauty business, which brings her a lot of joy, I think. So that's something too on the back burner that we really want to, I want to really push for her to start up. But I always say to him, like, well, get yourself a Flametech shirt, start doing my admin for me. So I don't, as I'm driving around and I see the phone ringing, I don't have to just worry about it. I just know that it's going to someone else. So but, it's an ongoing back and forth between us. We're just like, oh, and she goes, oh yeah, well I could. You just have to ask, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's working for you and Cheryl, Andy. You guys do great.
Yeah. No, it takes a special relationship to be able to work through stress, and also a lot of
and remain a couple. You're
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
Like,
well,
not
and-
want to kill each other at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it's not always the it's not always stress like, well, you didn't do what you were supposed to do, but it's like how, Luke, you're at that point where you're saying you're 2 to 3 weeks out. It's like, how do I get all of this stuff done? And there's a balance of like, how do we get everything done? How do we and on her side of it, right now, or I guess I'll relate it to where you're at. You understand all of the service calls you're going to do, and you've been doing it long enough that you go, well, I've got this tank list that isn't working. I probably need 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
That's going to get me a good diagnostics. Maybe it's quick and I'm on to the next one. But if it's 4 hours, right, which there aren't too many tankless repairs that are 4 hours. Sometimes it happens. But, you go, well, I can't afford 4 hours, but I could do a 2-hour call on Monday because I left the afternoon open. And one of the big things that was a learning curve for us was when Cheryl first started answering the phone, she didn't know what any of this stuff meant. Right? She didn't know how anything should be scheduled. She had no idea, on a lot of it. She had ideas of what things were because, for the last 20 years, she's heard me come home and, complain about my day. And so she, knew some of the language and the lingo, but really, I mean, in the last, she's been answering the phone now for probably almost 5 years, like full time. And that has become a big thing because now she's got that experience to be able to schedule efficiently so that our schedule is very fluid. And that you're right. I mean, for me, not answering the phone has been huge because I'm focused on going and finding the work and locking in the work. And she's more focused on answering the phone and taking care of the logistics side of it. And that's been huge.
That's definitely where I'm at too at the same point is like you said, like, oh no, someone could say a brand or a type of heater or a type of hot water, and I'd go, same thing. Oh yeah, that takes me about this long. I'll schedule this amount of time. And then they could say another brand. I'm like, oh, they're a real pain to work on. I'll allow another hour, but to someone that's not in the industry or hasn't worked in the industry for a long time, they'll just go, gas heater, gas hot water. He said to allow an hour and a half or 2 hours for each one. And then some of them you could look at and you're like, well, no, I'll do that in an hour. I probably could have a little bit of flexibility, like allow the 2-hour time slot. But I know in the back of my mind that it'll probably fit something else in that day. But then some of them, like you're saying, you look at and you just go, well, I could be there half a day. Like and I do, with my pricing, what we discussed earlier, I just do a fixed price. So, and that's so much easier for me because I know, same thing, I've dialed in my costs and how long it takes me to do things. And some heaters, it's right on the mark. Other heaters I make money off, and sometimes it just goes bad and you lose a little bit. But most of the time, I'm always in front. And it's so much easier if a customer calls up and goes, oh, how much serves the heater? How much to do this? You just go, this much.
Yep.
So,
well, if I were going to give you some advice on how to bring your wife in on that, or let's just say it's not your wife and it's somebody you hire to answer the phone, is start a Apple Notes or a Google Keep Note or something that you can start creating essentially a manual. And there's some software out there that does this too, but or a price book essentially, where when they answer the phone, they look at it and say, okay, you've got a heater issue. Can you tell me a little about your heater, and drill down like, okay, it's a Rinnai direct vent heater. I know, Luke said, schedule 3 hours on those. Right. So if it's a general service and it's not working, we're going to put 3 hours on it and it's, $600 and here we go. And then that allows them to make a block on the schedule for 3 hours, or find a block that's 3 hours so that they can tell the customer, well, he'll be there on Tuesday, and that part of it was huge. We had used a call-in system software at one point, and it was an absolute nightmare because all of the onboarding that we did, they didn't pay attention to all the rules. And so they would just schedule a 1-hour block. And so we initially started it, and it was, I think Rob and I were on the only two technicians that they could schedule at that time. And I had one or two others at that time. And literally in the first week that we had implemented that system, they had put on Rob's schedule in one day, like 5 water heater changeouts. And it was like, what are you doing? And they're like, well, we just schedule everything as an hour and then you guys figure out what it is. And I'm like, but you just schedule this like 25 hours worth of work in an 8-hour day.
Probably all
and they're like,
across town,
okay.
too.
Well, yeah. And they're like,
They're
okay,
like,
so
good
what
for you got work now.
Yeah, they're like, well, what do you want us to do about that?
Pay us our commission.
I'm like-
Look at all this work we brought you. So.
Right. And it was like, no, now I have to call all of these customers, or at least 3 of them, and say, we're not coming to that day. Right. You know, and now I got to do what I just paid you to do. So it's that side of it is a big factor of being able to do that.
Funny you mention that, because I've looked into like the whole AI calling and answering service and scheduling and everything else. And that was always my one big question with them is, well, how do you do this? Oh, well, you give us all the information and we do it. Well, what if you get it wrong? Like, what if I then look at it and I go, I don't service this area, or this job actually takes 4 hours and you've allowed me 1 hour, and then scheduled 3 other jobs. Now I'm the one that has to call them and say, well, sorry, you've already been waiting for a week or 2 weeks and I'm going to have to cancel you and this and that. Oh, but when I spoke to such and such, I
took the day off.
Yeah, that's right. So I was just like, well, for missing a couple of phone calls every day, it's like a lot of them go to message bank, and then I listen because a lot of them are like sales calls anyway. It's like, do you need insurance? Do you need this? So I let them all go to voicemail, and then I'll just deal with them from there. Yeah. But that was the thing. It was just like, well, how much it costs to have something like that. The return on it was just not there.
We before we turned that service off, we had just told them, you know what, listen, you can't block any or schedule anything that's not 4 hours. Right. So everything is a half day.
Everything went from 1 hour to 4.
Yep. Anything that they scheduled was a half day call, and then it had to be tagged as whatever. And then we could run a report and find all those that were in the upcoming. And then we could look at it and go, okay, manually, that's a water heater service. That's going to take an hour, and start trimming the schedule up, making holes basically, which worked out. And that's kind of what led us into where we're at now, to be able to block bigger appointments early on. And then as we close in on those, we start crunching those time blocks down, which makes more available time in the week. And that's
you guys, we're going on this on and on. We are at I was like 10 minutes ago. I'm like, okay, I gotta close this down.
every episode I listened every episode I listened to, I hear you say at the end, oh, we're running a little bit long. I was like, this is gonna happen. I'm looking at the time going, oh,
yeah. Shout out to Chad in your email. I think you guys, you, Patrick, and Chad, it's funny, you guys is like kind of dynamic. You follow Chad on social media, or you just like kind of pick up that we pick on him, or what's your...
No, I've followed Chad for a long time, and I've listened to all these episodes, and our favorite garden sprinkler.
Yeah.
The bee man.
The bee guy, yeah. He's out there saving lives. He's so dramatic.
But he is like I was spoken to him a lot through, and that's the beauty of Instagram, isn't it? Like, you can converse with all these people, but the man has a heart of gold, really. He's got this big heart, and I've chatted to him all the time about all these things, and and you can just he shares all these funny things, but the most part of it is you could just talk to him about anything.
Yeah.
And it came from this big picking on him, or, not really picking on him, but like, he had these things that you'd say, and then he would fight back, and you're like, oh, this is fun, and that's the thing too. But he'd bite back. He can give as much as he takes. So
that's what I was gonna say. He gets picked on, but he has no shortage. Problem, because he can bring it right back.
And that's my biggest dream in life, that he uncovers the identity of the world's worst plumber, because that's his goal, I think, deep down. We should fly him out to Australia, business trip.
Yeah. Business
Yeah.
trip.
Yeah. Investigative journalism. See, that would be the ideal reason for it, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
I think
I
we
don't-
should go back, Andy, and work with Luke.
I
And
think
I'm
we
not.
should.
I'm being serious when I
It would
suggest
be
that.
an absolute
Mhm.
riot.
Get some services lined up. Get a
Yep.
3-seat van or a 3-seat.
There you go.
It'd be like Dumb and Dumber with the guy in the middle.
We could throw Patrick in the back. Just roll him around.
No, I think I'll ride with Patrick. You two stick together.
There you
Luke,
go.
I don't know how much time you want to spend with me.
We
Okay.
could set up some competition.
You guys, we're over
Over an hour.
I'm stopping the recording in a minute. I want to thank you, Luke, for coming on.
Yep.
It's been so cool to talk with you, and you get in my DMs once in a while. You reply to a story, and I think, man, this guy is the best. He's so nice, and he likes me. So like, I automatically think you're the best. But no, it's been fun. This whole podcast thing has really opened up some, started some cool friendships and relationships, and call them whatever you want. It's been a lot of fun. It's fun to have you on, so I appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me. It's been
Absolutely.
it's been great.
Andy didn't even thank you. See,
I-
See how much-
he's starstruck, I reckon.
Starstruck. Yeah.
I also didn't want to bring up Chad early on because I don't think he's still listening, by the way. He
he
listens
is.
to all the episodes. He's such a great guy. But I don't think he's still listening. He's way too ADHD to get an hour into a podcast. So so you said, how we make fun of him. I purposely did not bring him up until the very end because I don't think he would.
We should just tell him,
friend I am, aren't I?
just start from the hour. Just start from the hour point and listen. That's when you're mentioned.
Oh. I hope he hears that, by the way. I even made a point. My point of saying all of that was so I hope he hears me. He loves me. He loves you. You love me, Chad. I love you, bud. All right, Luke, I'm going to stop this. Andy, you got anything else you want to add?
I don't think so, man. I like Eric said, thanks for coming on. It was good. It's always a little bit of a challenge trying to figure out how to record from so many time zones apart, but so we appreciate you coming on at the end of your day, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
That was
Real
great.
quick. It's 9 a.m. here. What time is it in Adelaide?
11:30 at night. So not even midnight.
And
Hours left in me.
so you are a day and a half into the future for us.
Yeah.
Which horse races do you want to know about? Like, what can we do here?
All right. Have a good one, guys.
Cheers.